This is going to be just intro to week 2. I had a conversation with a friend and feel that this information might be good to put into this program here. It's about the dimensions and about how emotions and feelings kind of get tied into a lot of this, and the perception of like an internal world and an external world, and how all that kind of relates to the journey you're going to be going on. So with the sacral chakra, it's all about relationships and interactions in between people, and during the sacral chakra week you're going to get hopefully a lot of messages and things that come up because of your interactions with people. And so let's start out with the dimensions. So we live in the third dimension. Everything's three-dimensional, right? So most people in the third dimension vibrate at like a high 2, low 3 frequency. And so whenever I say vibration or frequency, it pertains and relates to the vibratory rate that your cells and everything's kind of moving at this space and time. And so when we try and go on our visual journeys, moving into the fourth dimension and then up into the fifth dimension, like at the end of week 1, at the very beginning of week 1, when we put ourselves above our timeline and we're looking down at our body, that's fifth dimensional work. So you have to higher your frequency up into a 5 of a vibration to be able to tap into that. And you could have been operating at a fourth dimensional frequency, which is within kind of the time space, using remote viewing. So your guides probably helped raise your frequency, and you could have been remote viewing through the eyes of your guide and seeing your body and being able to see the energy that way if your vibratory rate wasn't able to reach a 5 at that point. So basically what happens is third dimensional, that's everything you can see and kind of touch in the world right now. And as you go up in the vibration levels, fourth dimension is the time space. So people who have near-death experiences or like die on a medical table and then get brought back to life. So they say they see the tunnel and they're moving towards a white light, and they feel like a pull or a sucking into this white light. So that's like fourth dimensional travel. So fourth dimension is where time, like the future, past, present, stops above the fourth dimension. In the fifth dimension and higher, there's no such thing as any kind of time table to anything. So everything exists in the here and the now, and every moment is lived in the moment, and there's no such thing as past or future. It's all happening at a single space and time. And so fifth dimension, we astral project and travel in fifth dimension. And when in the meditations I ask you to see, touch, feel, hear, sense, if I have you look at your feet and try and be in your body and see your feet as you walk along, that's fifth dimensional. I'm trying to get you to stay in your body instead of remote viewing, which is fourth dimension, and seeing your body kind of from a pulled out perspective. And fifth dimension, so fifth dimension, now there's beings that are trapped from like instant deaths, where the death was unexpected. So like a catastrophic death, car crash, something like that, plane crash. Any souls that had like that instantaneous death, they're trapped in the fifth dimension. People who don't know they've died or passed over are kind of trapped in the fifth dimension. Fifth dimension is also used for interdimensional travel. So like quote unquote aliens or different beings that aren't like humanoid beings use the fifth dimension to move about our world. And then as you get higher, like sixth dimension is what we call heaven. That's where your higher self resides. Seventh dimension starts to hold some of your guides, the angels. Akashic records are in the seventh dimension. Eighth dimension are just kind of higher level guides. Ninth dimension, higher level guides. 10th dimension, the matrix or God. 11th dimension connects us to other universes. I always use the wrong word there. Other gods or other matrix systems. And then the 12th dimension is the highest, where we merge with the monad and the God and everything. But why I want to talk to you about this is because as you move into this week and start to engage more with the energy around you, you might have these thoughts that things are happening outside of you, or you might have these thoughts that that you're picking up on energy or emotions of other people, or like it's really hard to go out and engage with the world because you're such a sensitive being now to the emotions that are happening around you. And although that's true, that's really just your frequency level is rising, and so your field now becomes more pliable, and so you now pick up on the higher frequencies that are in the fields around you. So you're not just in this dense third dimensional frequency where your molecule, think of it as like a big rock molecule. Your molecule is now smaller and able to now fit into different fields around you, and so you're going to start to pick up on things. And so as this happens, we now start to lift and remove density that lives in these finer fields that are around us. So we start to go out into our emotional field and our mental field, and then our spiritual field, and then we start to pick up on the collective around us. So something that a lot of spiritual seekers do is they say they're very empathic and they can't go to the grocery store anymore because they just feel the energy and the vibes of people, and they just can't handle it. So I don't want you to be that person. The whole process and the whole point of this is to love your life so much and be so happy and clear and open to all frequencies, all levels of vibration, that you are just so centered in yourself that you can hold the highest vibrational energy you can hold and allow that to affect all the energies around you. And so basically what happens here is you need to start turning the microscope in on yourself. So if you find yourself saying things or putting feelings out, saying like, I'm feeling this person's energy, or I'm sensing this, or I'm picking up on that, and it makes you feel a certain way, that's really just an indicator of maybe judgments or expectations or attachments, things you're holding on to that you're putting outside of yourself. Anything you feel at any point in time is an indication of something that is coming up for you to be reviewing at that point in time. So be very sensitive to the fact that you are going to start to raise your frequency and raise your vibration, and you're going to have, you know, a lot of humans go up into a fifth dimensional vibration. This is the energy of our earth right now. So a lot of humans will transmit, they'll go into daydreaming, they'll sit in a chair in a conference room, in a boardroom, having a meeting with 10 other people, and they'll slip into the fifth dimension and they don't even know they're doing it. In the fifth dimension, you know, you can live out basically, what do they call it? Precog. You can get future impulses, or start to kind of review and go over past life lessons that you didn't pick up on. You can also start to tap into the mental field that's around you and kind of get impulses, and then, you know, you're feeling into like Jerry to your left's thought process, and it feels like you, and people don't know that they do this. And so we start to slip into these fields around us. And so at that point, if we're slipping into these fields and recognizing that we're able to pick up on these subtle things around us, if it causes anything negative in us, if we feel like negativity or judgment or any of those things I was talking about before, this is an area to work on within yourself. So this is part of the process. I don't want you to be one of those spiritual seekers that start to say you're kind of higher than everybody else and now you can't engage with other people, because that is very kind of like the antithesis of what we're trying to do. We're trying to be so open and so vibrant in our own field and in everybody else's field around us that we can be and live and hold space and hold this area for hundreds of people that may surround us. And so we want to be that light in the room, that if everybody's having a bad day, we can walk into the room and have no judgment and hold on to our knowing that life is amazing and life is worth living and life is just just the multitude of colors that are in the rainbow, and and everybody might be experiencing something else, but we're going to hold this sacred space for everybody to be and experience and live and pick up on their own lessons, and we'll just be that stabilizing factor. So I don't know if I quite talked about what I wanted to talk about. I feel like I went into a really kind of different tangent, but so sacral chakra, so just while you're in the energy of other people, make sure to know that everything that still comes up while engaging and moving through this spiritual process, it's all meant to be. Don't place yourself, it's the spiritual box again. Don't put yourself in a spiritual box. Don't allow yourself to think it should be or feel or look a certain way. Anything that comes up and that might be, if you're looking at it as a positive or a negative, anything you might attach some kind of negative thought process to, just understand that that's heavy stuff that you're still working through, and that you need to acknowledge as your own stuff, and write it down, journal it. Anything you might sense or feel in the field around you, you might attach it to somebody else, it's always your stuff. Use the mirror. I don't think I talk about this, but I call it like the mirror example, where anytime you start to feel emotions or resentment or whatever, and you think somebody else is imposing this on you, flip it around, because it's something you're denying in yourself. And so anything negative, quote unquote, or bad, quote unquote, that you're feeling in life, it's dense vibration, it's low vibration stuff that you haven't dealt with yet. So flip the mirror, look at yourself in that mirror and say, why am I jealous of this person? Why am I picking up on these things and thinking it's this person doing it to me? Or why am I judging these person's feelings? What am I denying in myself? So use that mirror trick and just kind of always turn it around on yourself. And the whole thought process of being empathic and sensing what's going on in your field, because you're raising your frequency, and you're going to slip into higher frequency moments now, because you're going to have a very clear thought process, and be more in alignment with your own connection and your own channel. You're just going to have this tendency to kind of slip into the field around you. So, and you're not going to know. It's going to seem very similar to what you're going through every day. So just acknowledge that it's a part of the process, and just continue to journal, and the patterning will reveal itself with lots of practice and meditation. You'll be able to get there. All right, and light and love.